This is the Meeting of Minds podcast with me, Philippa Robinson. In this episode of the Meeting of Minds podcast, I'm in conversation with Bethany Rose. We both belong to the same stylist group, the Image Consulting Company, but other than her love of style and fashion, I didn't know much else about her. So it was a real treat to learn much more. She is sassy, caring and inspiring, and has real insight for her 23 years. I so enjoyed this conversation and I hope you do too. Now over to Bethany Rose. So, Bethany Rose, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I am really good, thank you, and all the better for seeing your happy smiley face on the other half of my screen this morning. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and be a guest on my podcast. I know you're busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time. So. And actually, it's a real privilege for me today to get to speak to you because I actually don't know you that well. I obviously know you well enough to have asked you to come on here, and you've agreed, which is great. But we are both members of the Image Consulting Company, and I'm there more in my capacity as things to add on to my life coaching service. But you're there as a stylist, and you're in your 20s, and I know you're going to be fabulous. But that's really all I know about you. So, can you tell me a bit more, please? I'd love to hear more.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. Great little morning chat we're having. I'm originally actually from a design background. Although I'm in styling now, I trained as a fashion designer at Manchester School of Art. And that was sort of my education. I spent some time in Manchester just really kind of working the design sort of element in uni. And then I came back from uni and got into styling. My 20s so far has been, really positive, I think. For me, it's about working out where I belong and finding my route. Because 6-year-old Bethany Rose was always interested and invested in design. And, I think she put pressure on herself just for design as well. So for me, I've learned a whole lot of just, opening my mind to other career paths. And, that's what I've been working out. Obviously design is a big part of me. And that was my 5 years of education in sort of City of Bristol College. I'm doing my diploma, then moving on into Manchester School of Art and graduating from there. I did a lot of a few little big projects as well in design. When I came back, I had this fabulous launch with an accessories range, which went into London stores with a brand called Mar London, and that was just absolutely amazing.
Wow.
I still designed when I came out of uni. I did a good sort of project as a freelance designer, and it was sold on his website. It was launched with menswear, his menswear collection, but it was kind of like a unisex vibe. It was it was London Men's Fashion Week, and we'd launched this thing. I was up in London looking at the project that I basically designed in my bedroom.
Wow, how cool is that? Just seeing something like that come to life. And you did it. So was this jewelry that you designed, did you say?
No, it was bags. So it was 4 bags of different kind of styles. They were all in a collection theme, but they were different sizes. One was a sort of handle, and it was very sort of industrial and it was in the luxury market, so it was like these beautiful leathers and really, really nice quality stuff.
Wow.
But it was just a bit bonkers because I was at graduate. It was.
I bet it was. It sounds amazing.
It was really funny because I'm basically just a chatter. Like, I love to chat, and I was at Graduate Fashion Week. This is when when you go into fashion, you graduate, and they do Graduate Fashion Week. Everyone's sort of invited, and you get your stuff shown if you're selected. Which luckily I collaborated with a guy, so I had a bag I made for him on the runway. But then you obviously have your portfolios out, and you speak to all the people in the industry, and they kind of do a bit of recruiting, which I did get recruited by H&M to go through an interview process through that. But what was great about Graduate Fashion Week is we all celebrated after. I'm like, right, let's go for a drink. This is like
That's the best bit.
I mean, it's brilliant because it catapulted me meeting the director of the company who I did the accessories for. So I was sort of out and about, and I was like, he was wearing a Craig Green bag, basically, which is a fabulous designer who I love. I went, oh, great bag, I love my fashion. So I complimented the bag, and he was like, oh, okay, you know your stuff. And I said, oh, well, yeah, I'm a fashion designer. I was just kind of like hustling it straight out of uni. Like, I'm not actually a fashion designer by trade yet, but I will be. This was my vision. And I was just like, yeah, I'm a fashion designer. And he was like, oh, okay, well, so am I. Maybe we could collab. I thought, wow, that's quick. Anyway, got the contact details, and it just flourished. It went on from there. And ended up making a collection for his store. And it went online, and, it was just brilliant. It was on Shoreditch High Street. It's like a concept store he owns called Not Just Another Store. And it was just amazing. I literally designed it from my bedroom.
Gosh, and I was like, anybody, obviously this is a podcast, so people can't see me, but you can see me. My eyes are out on stalks. It's like, wow, that is the sort of story that you hear people telling, but you don't ever imagine that somebody who that would have happened to. And that happened to you because you as you say, a bit sassy and out there, and also owning your genius, your zone of genius. Really, I am a fashion designer. I mean, you wanted to be a fashion designer, and actually you were, because you had designed some stuff, hadn't you? And just from that one comment, and actually owning this is what I am, that experience came out of it. How fantastic! I mean, all of you, that is amazing.
I think I was literally like, you know what, this is me. But yeah, really hilarious, really. I was just sat in my room like, oh my God, I've really got to do this now. And yes. At that stage, I was a little bit worried because it's like I had to do all these tech packs and, all of that kind of stuff. So it was very much, a very funny time.
Yeah, and when was that?
That was back in I think I want to say 2018.
Yeah.
Or 2019. I graduated in 2018.
Yeah.
And must have met him in the July.
Yeah, so it was straight after that, really.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened as soon as you graduated. That is fabulous.
Graduate Fashion Week, boom, there we are. And I was just doing these backpacks because basically in Manchester School of Art, we were very much about create something amazing.
Yeah.
And it was like all your creativity is in the product, whereas the business side of it and the actual product tech packs, we didn't do as much.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit scared to do it. I was like, oh my God, what if I get it wrong? But I smashed it. It worked. It all went perfectly fine. I just kept saying to myself, you can do it, Beth, you can do it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me, positive mindset, amazing. So by a tech pack, I'm thinking you mean a pack showing all the material, the way you made it, the materials that were in it, sort of all the details about it. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, that was probably a bit of a fashion term.
No, it's all right. I got it. I got there.
You so did. I mean, I think we can launch a brand. Basically, it's like an A to Z of, how to do it, all your sort of specifications.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And that was new to you then?
It was new,
making those, and you smashed that. Amazing. So, And then what happened after that?
So then after that, obviously the launch happened, really fabulous. And I at that time I was like working for John Lewis as a women's wear design as a women's wear floor on the floor, sort of selling clothes and stuff. And I was approached by H&M at Graduate Fashion Week, and I went through a really long interview process with them. So I got all the way to the final stage, and this was probably about 5 interviews, sort of an hour, 2 hours each time in London, over the phone, really sort of extensive interview. And I got out to Sweden in the April, and I had my final interview, and I was like, oh my God, this could be it. This could be my design platform with, you know, H&M. And went out there, and I didn't actually get the job. But now I'm so glad I didn't get the job, because it wasn't right for me. And I was heartbroken. Like, I remember getting the call, like, hi, you haven't got it. And I was in John Lewis, because I had to have a job when I came back from uni.
Yeah.
So this was like my job to basically give me money.
Yeah.
And I just remember literally like breaking down in the stairs. And I was like, no, like, this is my dream crushed. And I think after that, I really kind of questioned, like, oh my God, I'm, you know, am I ever going to be a designer? Is, you know, I was like, how am I going to do this? You know, but in that time, I was also trying to get in the personal styling team in John Lewis. And it took me sort of some time to get in there, to get the right contacts to get the interview. But I had the interview. So I'm sure that was running up to the next year. Like, I had some time where I was just like, meh, we're just going to like design some stuff, and just for me as a hobby, and kind of like regather what I want to do. Because I think it really knocked me. I like having that kind of.
You talked earlier about 6-year-old Bethany Rose sort of wanting to be a designer. So, you know, she was in that final interview in Sweden with you going, yeah, we got this, and then it didn't happen. I was going to say, I'm so sorry you didn't get it, but I feel that this is going to go on. Well, you've already said that you're glad you didn't. But obviously not at the time. At the time it was really hard.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure it was.
Because it was like, I had all this pressure on myself as well. Like, this is all I ever dreamed of. There was nothing else. Like, I knew as soon as I had an inkling of like, what's a job, I was designing as a 6-year-old little girl, like Bethy's Boutique. That's what I used to be. It's so cute. Designing dresses, like, constantly. That was all I would do. Or I would be like, I remember like being like 10 and creating mood boards on these like fashion apps on my iPod or whatever.
Wow.
I was obsessed with it from day dot.
Yeah.
So yeah, leading up to that point, I was like, I've done all this training, and oh my God, like, it's just a bit of a knock. But actually from that point, I was like, right, let's just like give yourself some time to be a little bit like sad about not getting the job. But thank God, because I don't think it would have been for me. In fact, I know that job wasn't for me. It wasn't actually the area that I think I belong in. And I think this is where my 20s are really just, you know, really quite positive, because from that point I allowed my mind to be like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, is it design? Like, are you just putting pressure on yourself because you've always said, I'm a designer, so I feel I need to be a designer? And I just kind of got that out of my head, and I separated myself from every negative part in my life. I distanced from absolutely everyone, and just spent time working on myself. I really didn't know how much I needed to just, after uni, like, refresh my mindset. I just had to like just be me and just work on myself. And you know, through that time, you know, since then I've lost like 3 stone. I've made sure that my health came first. I've really worked on myself, and I never knew how much I needed it. I think at uni you're so pressurized to do all this work, and especially in fashion, like fashion's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
You're there doing like endless nights of work, and it takes a toll on you and your health. So for me, it was like I did this project and it was amazing. It was all highs, and then I got the no from H&M, and I just was like, right, okay, there's more to life. I need to just become positive again.
Can I just ask you a couple of things?
Yeah, of course.
Menopause brain. What was I going to ask? So I know so do you feel that there's quite a lot of pressure when you're at university to know what you're going to do afterwards? Do you feel that it's like, okay, so, because I've had a couple of people say that to me, that it's all very well you go and do a degree, and you know, some people know what they want to do. Like I did a law degree. I actually never wanted to be a lawyer, but I ended up being a lawyer, so that's a bit strange.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But you know, some people don't know what they want to do, so they do a degree. But still, the pressure is on, even if you don't really have an idea of what you want to do afterwards, because there's constant talk about life after university and the job that you're going to do. And did you feel that? I mean,
I think the hardest challenge I had was coming out of university, because I've always been in education as well. I went straight from school to college to uni. As soon as that ends, you're like silent.
Yeah.
What am I? I'm supposed to have this like told I'm going to have this amazing design job, and you're going to be in the industry and all of these things, and you're like, they don't come like that. And I think I expected it to be really quick, and I think you all do as coming out of uni. You're in that kind of bubble, and I think especially for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I was always Beth the designer. That was always, I've been telling everyone for years, that's going to be me, like I can't wait. And
so I think there's sorry, go on.
I think there's so much pressure after uni. It's almost like you just fall out of the bubble almost.
I think you're right. That is a tough time coming out, and you know, you've been in that relative sort of structured environment, and it's almost like, you know, whether you leave when you're 21, 22, 23, however old you are, or even if you leave school at 18 and sort of go out and work, it's sort of a bit like, okay, so you're an adult now, off you go, what you're going to do. And it's like, whoa, hang on a minute, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what jobs there are out there. I don't really know. And actually, for you coming out of a design degree and then getting that design job, you thought, whoa, I've kind of made it now. We're here. So when it didn't go according to plan, how did you know that what you needed to do was just sort of put yourself in your own bubble, really, in a way? I don't want to talk about bubbles because 2020 has been all about bubbles, hasn't it?
God, but the social bubble.
I know. So to distance yourself from everybody and just look after yourself.
Yeah.
How did you know that is what you needed?
I just felt it. Like I needed to just get I just felt like a little, you know, I'm not like a negative person, but at the time I was like, I feel a little bit sad. I feel like I've got like negativity around me. And I was like, I just had a feeling just to like, you know what, I just need to do me. I just need to like get everyone's voices out of my head and just do me and just focus on myself, focus on my health. Like that is something that I'd never looked after. Like I never did a workout, and like those little things, I was like, oh my God, I'm missing the whole outlook. Like it's not just about your design job that you want. Like there's so much that I needed to work on. And funnily enough, now is the point where I finally feel like, you know, really together. Like I've got my health together, like obviously losing like quite a lot of weight, and like my mentality's back where it needs to be because I found my way. And I think that was just like what I needed to do to distance, was then to kind of find my way on my own and not have anyone else's opinions.
Yes.
Because I like, that's my flaw of mine. Like I take what people say to me quite literally, and I think like, you know, I put pressure like, oh, you know, what are they going to think about me? But now I don't give a damn. Like, I've definitely learned that over the last like couple years. I'm literally like, I'm just going to do me. And I needed to be on my own to do that, to grow my confidence. But yeah, uni is definitely like a pressure. But with that, I had such good experiences there. Like, I went out to China, which I learned like loads of life lessons there.
Wow.
In how to travel. I was in the design team in accessories there, designing bags, and had one put into mass production, and Accessorize came in and bought it. So I managed to have some really great experiences there. And that was also really funny because Mum was watching the TV and this bag had been bought by Accessorize. We knew it was in the stores and they made this like trend edit out of it. Yeah. And Mum was watching the TV and Trinny Woodhall's on the TV doing her, you know, they do the fashion segment and they kind of do their bit of presenting. She texted me and she was like, Beth, Trinny Woodhall has just put the bag you designed on her trend edit with Philip and Holly. Oh. I was like, no, you're joking. And it was just brilliant.
Oh, how amazing.
Yeah, that was all at the same time where it was all like, oh my God, all this fashion design stuff.
And how fabulous to know that you've done that as well. You know, and to be really proud that is what you've done. And, you know, I mean, who knows where the rest of your life is going to go at the moment. But how fabulous. That is just, very well done. I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing. And
it's just really fun.
Yeah. And so you managed to have that time by yourself. And you've mentioned a couple of times the word belonging, and I can... so that was obviously quite an important thing for you, and it sounds like you found during that time
where my root is.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because whilst all the design stuff was amazing, there was just something in me like, I don't want to create in this world. It's like fashion is so toxic right at the minute. Like it's a beautiful area of creativity, but there's so many things going on with overconsumption, and you know, I felt a massive pressure. Like, I don't want to create if it's not helping someone or if it's going to ruin fashion, because I love fashion and I wouldn't want to create stuff and then it get more of a bad rep because I'm not doing it properly. And that is where I started to fall out of love with design. And I was like, I'm not at this stage right now where I feel I can positively create something and put it out there to be bought, because there's so much. What makes me, you know, the person for someone to buy from me? What makes me that person? Am I just then creating more of a problem? And that's when I just fell out of love, and I thought, you know what, let's just have a little like open mind, go with the flow a little bit, which is so not me. Like, I am Plan City and that was the best thing I ever did, was just kind of like go with the flow and find some new things to be inspired by. And luckily in that sort of quick run up, I got the job as a personal stylist in John Lewis.
Fabulous.
That day, I genuinely feel opened my eyes and changed everything, because I'm a real communicator. I love to chat.
Yeah.
And I love fashion. And I didn't realise personal styling was a thing. Like, I knew about stylists and shoots and editorials and real creative styling, but I didn't know I could be a stylist for like the normal person.
Yeah.
And like just chat with normal people and just really inspire them and make them look and feel amazing. And it was like my whole mind just went, oh my God, this is it.
Hey.
This is it. Do you know what I mean? It was like a click of the button, and I was like, this is where I belong. I belong with fusing my caring qualities with my love of fashion. And that's personal styling. And since that day, I've literally been off. I've obviously had all my training. I retrained in personal styling. So yeah, it was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then, you know, since then, I've just kind of like gone with it. And I've set up my own blog now. which is basically an educational space for women to go to and get free style advice.
Oh, fabulous. And where do we find that?
So it's www.styling.com.
Oh, no, I think we just lost your, just then, I think, well, I didn't hear it. So can you just repeat that?
Of course. It's www.bethanyrose.styling.com.
BethanyRoseStyling.com. Fabulous.
Yeah.
And actually, I've seen a couple of your blogs, and they're pretty good. They're not necessarily, well, I was going to say they're not necessarily for me. I mean, they would be for me, not because of my age, if I was, but you know, they are fabulous. So hopefully, hopefully, some of our listeners will go and check you out and check out your advice and your tips and your. Do you tend to blog about trends or seasons or classic stuff? Or are you just whatever comes to mind?
So I blog about trends a lot. So my first series I launched with the blog was body shape analysis, which I just thought, you know, lots of personal stylists have this information. I want this to be accessed. I don't want it to be, you know, I want it to be free for people to access. That is what I come from, because I don't want to I just want women to feel great, because I feel like there's just that kind of like women wanting to feel good but not necessarily knowing how. And you know, body shapes are really, really interesting, because you can dress really well if you know your body shape. It's like following a book of rules, although there's some rules you can tweak and kind of break a little bit. If you follow a set of rules and, you know, get these sort of fits right, you know, they look really great. And I think lots of women do struggle sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're talking to somebody who has always dressed in baggy clothes to hide what I considered to be a you know, without going too deep, probably quite a shameful body, really. And now looking back, it was never as bad as I thought it was. And wearing bigger clothes made it look worse. A whole lot worse. And now that I have been able to, I mean, I've said in other episodes, so anybody who's listened to other episodes of this podcast will have heard about the breakdown I had 4 years ago. And since then, I have learned that I am okay, and that includes my body, and that includes some of the things that you were talking about, looking after my body, exercising, not with a view necessarily to lose weight. For the first time in my life, I didn't do it because I wanted to lose weight. I have ended up losing a bit of weight as a side to it, but it was more at my age, I was feeling that you know, you've got to use it or lose it, haven't you? And you know, I wanted to be a bit more flexible, I wanted to be a bit fitter, and I'm not going stupid with it, but equally I feel so much better. But with that comes an appreciation of my body more, and it means that I am dressing it
I always say highlight, not hide.
Yes.
Because actually, why are we hiding our amazing silhouettes?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own vision of their flaws, and we just need to highlight our shapes in the best possible way and just feel the most confident we can, because every woman feels comfortable in the area. Period, you know?
Yeah.
But it's finding your highlight points and really running with them, and then everything else kind of falls into place. And then it's also about building your confidence, you know? It doesn't start with, you know, I've gone from this point to where I see myself and I want to be in fashion. There is a journey, and it comes down to emotion and dressing, and it's all emotive. Like you wake up and you think, what am I going to wear? And it all comes down to emotion. And I think that's why personal styling and fashion really works for me, because it's just a really emotional kind of way of creating outfits. And I do really love it.
Yeah, I can tell you, I can tell you do, just from the way you're talking and the look on your face. And I just think it's fabulous. And I completely agree with you that it is a confidence thing, but you can start with little steps, can't you? You can, you know, it doesn't have to be a completely change your wardrobe. It can be just adding little accessories in different colors, maybe if you have some color analysis and work out which colors actually, and some colors make us look so much better than others, and
I know,
and I never really realized that.
It's so true. Like, you have different seasons where like people sit in with their color analysis, so you know, it's really, really interesting. And I think also what's interesting is, yes, colors can lift your sort of skin tone and kind of dull it down, but what's really interesting as well is like your personality as well, because that will have an effect on the colors you wear. So color I find really fascinating in that sense of, again, it goes back to emotion and it goes back to the way you feel, which is, you know, it's all a big thing about how you feel. How is all it, fashion is linked to the mind, and I think we forget that, and that's what it's like. Fast fashion, I'm going to buy top, and it's like, you know, there's much more to it. Much more to it.
I completely agree with you. If I'm feeling a bit down and I want to sort of not feel quite so down, I'll put something bright on. I'm all for colour, and I'm you know, I know I've got this sort of sludgy green jumper on today, but
I absolutely love it.
Well, we're on video as well, but I mean, through Zoom, bright colours,
it looks very zingy.
Well, actually it's not sludgy, because I'm not really, I can wear a lot of colours but not really autumn colours, but I've got bright white hair, so I find that lifts things anyway naturally. So it's and it is confidence, and I think, you know, it all helps, because my mission, for want of a better word, is to try and empower people to feel the most confident that they can be, because we only get one life. We are our own unique selves. We are the only ones who can do us, and I feel that we owe it to the world to put ourselves out there in whatever way that might be, and it's going to be different for different people, and actually clothes can help us feel our way into that as well as lots of other things, but clothes is very much part of it. So you're right on point for this podcast. So thank you.
I just think, like, my motto is like to just keep inspiring. Like I feel like I'm here to make positive change, and if I'm not making positive change, then I'm not actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is why personal styling sits so right with me. It's because by doing that, I'm actually helping people, and that really matters to me. If that's the only thing that matters, you know, it's just making people feel good. If I'm helping someone, that's amazing. Like I even feel wowed that I have this job and people allow me to do that, because they have to let you in.
They do. You're right, because it can be, I mean, somebody who wants maybe a fabulous outfit for a fabulous occasion might not need you in is not going to need you in the same way. If they just want you to help them find a fabulous outfit because, you know, they don't really have issues with clothes, but want you to help find it, that is very different to someone who comes and goes, I've got no idea. I need some new clothes. I've got no idea what suits me. I'm sick of wearing the same old stuff. I think I look rubbish in everything. Can you please help me? And you know, you would be an amazing person to come to for that, because you can feel into them and actually help them. And it's funny, over the years I've had a few personal styling shopping experiences in shops with people, and some of them have been great and some of them have been not so great. So it's like everything in life, I say, it's finding the right person. It's not just go to a personal stylist. It's like don't just go to a coach, don't just go to a counsellor, you know, or anything. A lawyer, maybe, you know, I used to be a lawyer. That they're not all the same, because ultimately all those are just job descriptions. They are all people, and you find the right person to connect with, to help you with what you want help with. And you know, you've got all that going on.
Well, I think although I carry this real fashion forward, love trends, and you know, that fabulousness of it all, you know, me, I'm just very caring, and I just want to help people. And I think there's so many women who could feel a lot better if they accessed, you know, the blog and just a little bit of inspiration.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to continue. So like for the rest of my 20s is about me learning, you know, in other areas, just like learning, reading from everywhere, and just carrying on to inspire, continuing with my blog. And actually, I want to go into a bit of presenting as well. I'd love to just be, you know, go into that kind of media side and kind of shed some positive light in fashion.
So we're going to see you on, I don't know, we're going to see you on, I don't know, instead of Trini doing this morning, it's going to be you doing the fashion edit on this morning, is it?
I mean, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. I mean, Bethany Rose, she is coming for this presenting world. I don't know, I just feel like it'd be really fun as well.
Oh, I believe it. You're gonna get there. I can, you know, if you've got this far in like you know, and you're only 23. Wow, you know, I believe it's going to come. Like you say, keep inspiring and yourself. You're inspiring me today. So
oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. I think you're amazing. I think. Oh, sorry, I'm just sort of blown away by you, really. So, sorry, so you were talking about the rest of your 20s, because obviously you've only had 3 years of your 20s so far. Wow, what are you going to do in the next 7?
Well, it is just about me just continuing on, you know, with continuing to inspire, and the blog, and hopefully get into presenting. You know, I've actually got my first... So I've done bits of presenting with being a personal stylist with John Lewis. Like I've done style talks all the time, and you know, all this stuff. But I've actually got like my first, let's say, live filmed kind of thing tomorrow.
Oh,
I know.
What is that? Can you tell me, or is it a secret?
So it's not a secret. It's
well, you are whispering. Have you noticed? I've noticed you're whispering a little bit now. It's like feels like so exciting.
So it's basically this Give a Little Love campaign we're doing. We are we're doing this like live quiz show, and basically I'm going to be a live reporter in an area.
Is this with John Lewis? Is this with your...
Yeah. So this is like my first show, and Jason Manford and Connie Hux are the presenters, so I'm going to be like dress rehearsals, and I'm like, hi. So yeah.
Where's that going to be shown then?
So it's shown through Eventbrite on John Lewis.
Okay.
So it's like basically we're trying to raise money for the charities we've chosen, and this is the way that we're doing it. And yeah, I've been chosen to do a little bit of a 2-minute stint.
Oh, how exciting, because you know, I mean, that's great, and who knows what happens from a 2-minute stint, and it's great experience, great practice. You know,
and I feel like if I got into presenting, that's a way that I could inspire on a bigger level.
Yeah.
And make more change, because then that runs up to my 30s. So, you know, I said I was like proper planner.
You did.
I've got plans up until I'm 40.
Oh my goodness me. Right.
I know.
If I do an episode on a series on the 30s, I'll be back. But you know, wow. So go on then, just give us a little hint. What's the plan by 40?
Well, I mean, for my 30s, I want to kind of go back to my roots of design.
Okay.
Now, and, you know, build a brand. But I will only build a brand if it affects someone in a positive way, or it's done in a way that doesn't cause negativity.
Okay.
And that is the only way that I'll do it, which I think by 20s I'll learn about how I can do that, what kind of thing I'm gonna do.
And also I think a lot of things will have changed by then anyway, because things are changing in the fashion industry now, aren't there? There's loads more people talking about the lack of sustainability in the fashion industry and the harm that it's causing. And you know, I remember watching, as ever, you know, anybody who has seen it, that Stacey Dooley documentary about all the dye from all the factories going into the rivers. I mean, you know, I think things like that really open people's mind, and I think people are a bit more I've seen a lot of people, I know it's been easier during lockdown because we haven't been going out, but people saying, right, I'm not going to buy anything for 6 months, or I'm going to repurpose everything in my wardrobe. And, you know, there seems to be a lot more of that sort of thing going on. And I think that's probably right, that we don't buy as much, but we buy, you know, stuff that is the right thing for us, rather than just buying something because it's really cheap, and, you know, you might never wear it, but it doesn't really matter because it's really cheap. Whereas actually, no, buy something that is the right colour, the right shape, it goes with other things in your wardrobe, and, you know, it's going to last.
This is when personal styling comes into hand, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're really conscious about that, then it's not... And I also think as well, like, I don't think, you know, don't buy from fast fashion. If that's what you can afford, why should you feel bad to buy it?
Absolutely.
If that's anything you got. So I think that's when personal styling comes in, is that actually you can buy lower budget, but make sure that you wear it, and that is the only thing. Like, just make sure you're wearing it. And, you know, I wouldn't say get everything from fast fashion, because I think there's a duty of you know, us being more ethical as people, and you know, but I definitely think that, you know, budget comes into it as well.
Yes, of course it does.
And I think if you've worn that dress 100 times, it served you well, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
There's lots of factors.
There are, and it's, you know, there is no one easy answer. It's very, it is really complex. So I think you're right. In 7 years' time, who knows where that will be, and what the drivers will be, and what you will have learned along the way by then. I'm really excited to see what you learn, and what you do. I think it's fabulous.
I just hope one day that I can just be like an ambassador of change. I'd love to have my own charity and fund, you know, looking into more sort of 40s. I'd just love to do that, because I think being nice in the fashion industry really is undersold. Like, I just want that like throughout my career so far, I just think if people are a bit nicer, this could be so amazing, and that's what I want to change.
And I think you're absolutely right, and I also think that isn't just the fashion industry. I think in general, a bit more kindness and a bit more thoughtfulness towards people in general goes an awful long way. I'm all for you on. I'm all with you on that, totally.
Well, I think it goes back to, like, you know, with lots of women, it goes back to our body confidence. And I think if I educated more about body confidence, then we, you know, growing up, women would feel better, so those projections wouldn't be negative to other women.
Absolutely.
It comes back to emotion again, and this is why it's crazy, really, when you actually put it down to what it belongs to. It's not about trend; it's about how you feel.
It is quite basic, really, when it comes to it. You're right, but it's putting it's getting that across in a way that is manageable for people to sort of understand and take on board. But even if just by helping their body confidence, they then feel better in themselves, then like you say, that what they're bringing into the world is much more positive. And that's totally, you know, you're right on brand for this podcast, because that's totally what I am trying to do and talk about. So thank you. So I think that seems like quite I think we've trotted through your 20s so far, and what's going to happen into your 30s, and we're already looking into your 40s. So yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. I did ask you whether you've got a motto or a saying or something that you find useful or helpful. I think you do have one, don't you?
Yeah, so mine is smile through everything.
Smile through everything. Love that. And how is that? So when you're having a bit of a not very smiley day, to remind yourself of that helps you put a smile on your face.
Well, exactly. And I think emotions are temporary. Like, you just need to be in a positive space, and we can do that. Like, I've got myself from negative to positive. We all have ourselves to get ourselves out of something. Yeah
And actually
smile.
Sometimes putting a smile on your face really helps, doesn't it?
Even
if you don't feel it, you can sort of.
To be fair, I'm a bit of a positive Polly anyway, but
well, that's good. We need positive Pollies.
Positive Polly.
Positive Polly, bring it on. Bethany Rose, the positive Polly for us today. And also, you said earlier on, you want to keep inspiring as well, and that's another of your sort of, I suppose actually that's probably one of your values, isn't it, to inspire?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today. You've been awesome, and I'm going to go off and have a bit of a look at my wardrobe now. So,
well, if you need any help,
I know,
where I am.
I do know where you are. Thank you so much. And just as a reminder, we can find your blog on www.BethanyRoseStyling, all one word, .com. Lovely.
Perfect.
Bethany, thank you so much. You have been absolutely a dream. So thank you. You take care.
Oh, and you.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Meeting of Minds podcast. You can find this podcast in all the usual places. Please tell your friends. Please subscribe. And if you have a moment, I'd be really grateful if you could rate and review, as it helps other people find us and helps me spread the messages of empowerment and positivity that I'm really passionate about. If you want to find out more about me, you can visit my website at www.safeandsupported.co.uk. Until next time, bye.